Hi, I'm Paul.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the People's Podcast. I am your host, Paul Vibes, local motivational speaker. Our show is all about spirituality, self-development, connection, wellness. Please be sure to subscribe and follow us on a variety of different social media pages. If you know somebody that would be a great guest to our show or sponsor, please reach out. I hope you enjoy the episode. Hello, everybody. Paul Vibes here, sending you guys good vibes. As always, I have another very special episode of the People's Podcast. We got Alex from the Caffeine Academy. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me, Paul. I totally appreciate it.
Yeah, I love it. I was telling you before we started recording, I like your vibe, your house there, you inviting us in. I was telling you that you need to start doing your own podcast. I like the layout.
Cool. Oh, yeah, just because of the layout or because of the content?
Everything, both. The whole that package, the hat, the beard, the vibe you bring. You got good energy, man. And I know we've been talking for a few weeks. And, you know, before we go into what you do, I always like to check in with my guests and just see how they're doing, how's their mental health, how they doing, how they feeling. So how you feeling today?
I feel absolutely fantastic. And I feel like this whole thing has been pretty crazy, and it's stressful for a lot of people, but it's also a time to just take a step back and to think about the things that are important to you, the people that are important to you, the things that you want to do, you want to accomplish. So I've been doing a lot of that, and it's been great. I mean, I'm married, I have 3 kids, and they're all, you know, on the older side, and there's been no drama, no BS. It's just been pretty cool, actually. You know, some great conversations. A lot of, you know, us, especially, you know, in our family, just a lot of thinking, a lot of like goal setting, a lot of just thinking about what we can do to improve ourselves. And for me is, you know, what can I do to make more of a contribution to society? And as silly as that sounds, you know, that's important to me to make a difference. And I've been doing that, you know, just thinking about it and figuring out how could I make more of an impact. And so it's been good. It's been good. You know, I wake up every day. With excitement to get things accomplished. And one of the things that I had to do, I finally figured it out a bunch of years ago. But I had to come up with daily routines because I have all kinds of issues, from ADHD to some learning disabilities, dyslexia, and so my mind is all over the place. So in order for me to curtail that and not just be, you know, running around in circles, is to have what I call, you know, like my morning routine, and that's kind of helped me even during this pandemic, just having somewhat of a routine. And sometimes you get lost and, you know, you go off and you break the routine, but for me, it helps me. And it's as simple as just, you know, waking up in the morning at a certain time. And then I have to drink water just to like hydrate. And then, yeah. Then that's the first thing I do when I wake up. I drink a, you know, full glass of water. And then another thing that I do that's helpful for me is I think of a few things that I'm grateful for, and I just say them out loud, you know, without being all corny and stuff like that. I'll just say what I'm grateful for. And sometimes I'm just grateful for just waking up. Sometimes, you know, it could be about, you know, just grateful for my wife, my kids, you know, whatever it is, you know, just whatever is on my mind. And doing that makes you feel good. It sets a tone for the whole entire day if you're grateful for whatever it is that you have. And then I like taking long showers in the morning, and it's almost therapeutic for me. I put on some either meditation music or something that's like an inspiring speaker, and I listen to that in the morning, and it just soothes me. It just prepares me for, you know, for the day. And then I have a breakfast, you know, just a decent breakfast, and I just take down some notes of things that I want to accomplish. I used to have a list of 150 things that I had to accomplish. And if I accomplished 80 of them in a day, I would still be annoyed because I wanted to accomplish 150, but I changed my whole perspective, and I only put a few things on my list, a day. And if I get them accomplished, awesome. And they're more general, they're more general things on the list, but it's not overwhelming. So I try to keep the things as simple as possible. And then, basically I start my day, but I need that routine to get me going. And then I try to do meditation, which is very, very challenging for me because my brain is all over the place. But I do sometimes, even if it's 2 to 5 minutes, as I'm waking up in the morning after breakfast, just to try to put everything in perspective and think about, what my day is going to be like, and just sort of take a deep breath and relax. And so that's kind of like my daily routine, just to get things going. And then it's go time. Just try to accomplish as much things as possible. And that's kind of what I've been doing.
I appreciate it. I think the importance of routine is something that's in my life really crucial, because I deal with the same things, attention deficit. I have a learning disability. And I think for people like us, we need that structure more than ever, because our mind will go all over the place. And it seems like you've been able to do a lot of successful things in your life and accomplish a lot of great things. And I love what you said there about gratitude. And we just had a Buddhist on the show yesterday, and it's going to be released soon. And he talked about that, the importance of gratitude. And the whole podcast was about gratitude. So I'm going to put you on the spot. What are a couple of things or 3 things that you're grateful for? And then I'll go. But what do you want to share with us that you're grateful for today?
Well, one of the things I'm grateful for is just having an amazing wife that can deal with me. That's number one. She keeps me grounded. So I'm really, really grateful for her. I'm grateful for the conversations that I've been having with her, and also, with my kids, and even things, it's just great conversations, and even things that stemming from from my childhood, or my wife's childhood. And so the more we learn about ourselves, the better off we can be. And we're looking at things differently now. We're like, I'm 50. And so we're thinking about our second act. Like, what can we do in our second act that's just going to be even better than what we did in our first act? And now that our kids are grown up, and then they're going to start moving out of the house, what's next? So I'm so grateful for just the conversations about moving forward, about who we were as kids and growing up as kids, and who we were as young adults, and then now who we're going to be as, I guess, middle-aged folks here. And I'm really, really grateful for those conversations, that I'm having with my wife and the kids. And the last thing that I'm really grateful for is I am grateful for the business that I'm in. And it's so satisfying and gratifying. And every single day I'm grateful for it, because I have incredible students that are showing me so much love that it's hard to even explain. I mean, because it's not something that I've ever really experienced, and I've experienced a lot of different things and cool vibes, no pun intended. But this is something different. This is something that's really touching, where we are making, I guess, we're making a difference in people's lives, and we feel the immediate sort of response to it, and just by their smiles on their faces, or if they learn something. So that's what I'm grateful for. It's just really, it's just my wife, the kids, the conversations that we're having, and the feeling that I'm getting from our students, and their appreciation of what we're doing is just off the charts. And that's pretty much, what I'm grateful for today, and most days.
Well, those are awesome things to be grateful for. And speaking of your first act, you're talking about the second act. In this first act of your life that you're mentioning, you've done some amazing things. And I know many people that know you already from what you do with your work and all, they may know you already, but for the people who don't know what you do with the Caffeine Academy, can you share a little bit about what you guys do?
Yeah. So Caffeine Academy is it's basically, we teach people how to DJ, how to produce music, how to do music video production. But it's more than just that. It's a place where you're building your confidence, you feel significant. It's a place of belonging. It's a place of like personal growth. And it didn't really start out that way. It just started out where I want to do something creative, something different. And I wanted to inspire people and almost be like a Tony Robbins, but in a
music way, right?
In a music way, in a creative way. And that was like the idea of it. But it just started off where we were just teaching people how to DJ and how to produce music and make videos and then do these like little short films. And it just sort of started growing from there. And we started adding just basic life skills and empowering people. And I realized that if you have confidence and you believe in yourself, anything is possible. So I've always been a dreamer, and I've always believed that anything is possible. I grew up in Levittown. We had no money growing up whatsoever. My father was a taxi driver, and we were poor. We really had no money. But my mother inspired me so much, and she said, in a way, not really just beating up on her husband, on my dad, but saying, you want more than this, right? Go out there and do it. Anything is possible. So I've always had the confidence, even with the learning disabilities and stuff like that. It never stopped me because I just, in my mind, I knew that I can do anything. So I love to pass that along to other people. And if they feel like they're not, they're not worthy or they're not good enough, it's anything is possible. It's all a mindset. If you believe that you can do something, then you can do it. And that's what gets me going. And that's what really drives me to see every single day where we're helping students find their lane, find what it is that they love, what they're interested in, what comes easy for them, and let them know that, do you realize that you just edited a video and look how amazing it is? Mm-hmm. And then we show them the video and they're like, wow, I'm pretty awesome. And it's like, yeah, you are. Or people who let's say, we have students of all abilities, right? So we have some kids who have Down syndrome, autism. We have typical students. We have kids who are developmentally delayed, and the list goes on and on. But we treat everyone the same. And what I noticed, the common bond is if they feel confident and if they feel good, anything, they can do anything. And I took that from even my childhood. I had to pave my own way because I couldn't process things quick enough when I was reading. I had to figure out, like, I couldn't really take notes and pay attention at the same time. So then I asked, my neighbor, the girl sitting next to me, give her a nice smile. I'm like, please, can you help me, just take my notes? And I'm not cheating or anything like that, but I can't do both. And then I even spoke to a teacher about it. So I figured out ways to learn, differently. But that helped me become more confident and realize that I can handle anything. So I really try to do that with our students in just building up their confidence. And when we're building up their confidence, and the other little trick that I've learned is if they learn through laughter. Mm-hmm. I cannot believe when you take away the word assignments or homework, or you take away the pressure. It's like you're lifting up a wall, right? And you say, let's just have fun today. Let's not even worry about what we have to learn. Let's not even worry about anything. There's no pressure. Let's just have fun. And once we lift that wall and the students have fun, they're able to learn so much more just by not feeling like it's something that they have to do. And that is one of the key things that I've learned is learning through laughter. If you're having fun, you are going to learn so much more. And if you sort of build the confidence, it's the same thing. So that's kind of what we've been focusing in on is simply basically helping them learn how to DJ, learn how to produce music, and learn how to make videos. And the bonus is that their posture is getting better. Their confidence is sort of off the charts. They feel significant. They feel a sense of belonging, like I was saying earlier. And we're building like somewhat of a community of people that just love music and love producing music, or love DJing, or love making videos. Some of these kids, their destiny, right, from whoever it was, whether it was a teacher there, a teacher of theirs, or not necessarily a parent, were in the past it was like, well, you can bag groceries at a supermarket, right? Or you can do whatever, it's like some dumbass job, right? And I don't mean it like that. That sounds bad, but just some regular job, right? If they thought about what makes them happy, or what they're capable of doing, or if they have the confidence, or if they even knew, or even if teachers or parents knew like what else is available besides typical jobs, like think out of the box. And what's exciting is knowing that we can give some of these students an opportunity to be more than just what someone thinks that they should be. So I've seen students that have special needs that have completely changed. They didn't have the confidence coming in. There's no way that I can learn this. I love music, but there's no way that I can learn how to make it. And the second they came in, we try to create like a happy place, like a really cool environment. We have cool lights, and it just looks like a very comforting place. And it's also looks like a nightclub too, with all the lights and stuff. So when you have the environment that's pretty cool, they feel like it's my happy place, and it's becoming their happy place. And they don't have like this shield over them, because they can just be themselves. They learn, and what I saw was so unbelievable, where people who couldn't believe that they could DJ or produce music or edit, they're doing it. And it's mind-blowing to me, because it's all in the mind. It's still mind-blowing to me thinking about it, where if you just really believe you can do it and you have fun doing it, anything is possible. So I've seen students who have developmentally delayed, have low IQs, whatever it may be, they're excelling and they're doing incredible. And they're so happy because they feel like they're good at something. And then everything changes about them, just like even their posture, the way they look at you, their eye contact. And just because they know that they're pretty awesome at whatever it is, whether it's DJing or producing music or making a video. So that's some of the stuff that kind of gets me really, really excited and enthusiastic about what we're doing.
Yeah, so much of your story, I appreciate you sharing, that resonates with me. As you mentioned before, you overcame your own challenges. And what I love about what you guys do is people aren't limited by their so-called disability or the limitations that they have. They walk in and they have a platform, they have an opportunity to be creative, to be themselves, to work on themselves. And for me, that experience was volunteer work. And I think I mentioned to you earlier that I don't think I would be doing this podcast. I don't think that I would be doing the work I do with the special needs community if I didn't go through my own challenges. And for me, that was my learning disability. And like you mentioned earlier, you had to learn how to learn, you learn differently. And as you get older, you realize that everybody has challenges, whether they have a diagnosed disability or not. We all have challenges. We all have things that we excel in. We all have things that we might need some extra help. And I've seen videos and pictures, and you guys have a great community. Everybody's always smiling in your videos and pictures, and everyone always seems to be having such a great time. And anything I do in life, I want it to be something that's bringing people together, that's positive, that's bringing out the best in each other, something that's about inclusion, including people. And it seems like you guys do an amazing job at bringing people, like you mentioned, from all walks of life, no matter what challenges that these individuals have. When they walk into your doors, they're welcomed and they're accepted for who they are.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And that's also something that's important, that there's no judgment, and that they feel great about that. They could be themselves and not be told, all right, stop, don't do that. So they can just do whatever they want, and feel comfortable, about it. So the other thing that was interesting is I was a little nervous at first when the whole coronavirus started hitting, and we realized that we have to close, and we can't we can't continue doing this. So I was definitely a little nervous about that, and how our students were going to react, because they're pretty set in their ways. They have their schedules, and they're so busy. So it was, all of a sudden their world is going to be turned upside down. It's not just kids, or students with special needs. It's everybody. It's all of us. Something like this happens, your world does get turned upside down. So how do you get back into the groove of things? How do you get back into a routine that it's so different? So we started making phone calls, and we started getting some of the students to do stuff online, and it was different. It was a little challenging. And some of the parents said, we're going to wait a couple of weeks. I'm not sure if they're ready for it. And so we were pretty patient. The parents were so cool and trying to encouraging their kids to do it. And we weren't putting any too much pressure. We were just saying, let's just try it, let's see what happens. And we were honest with the parents and some of the students, like, look, we don't know how great it's going to be. We're going to see. We don't know if their attention span is going to hold up or anything like that. Let's just try it and see what happens. And couldn't believe what was going on. So we had to adapt. We had to change. And we started doing the FaceTime. We started doing Zoom, Skype, and anything. We did FaceTime. Facebook Messenger, video messenger, and little by little, we started getting more and more of our students back. And it was really, really good. It was better than what we expected. And then we're like, all right, let's do something fun. So then we started a group, it's more of a group session. It's not necessarily a class. It's more of a group session where we do on Monday nights, we do Wednesdays, we call it Wacky Wednesdays and Fun Fridays. And I cannot believe how amazing it is. And we do a little bit of everything. We start off with, and this is a group, it started off with 4 or 5 students, and now on some of the nights, on Monday nights, it's like in 50, I think most was like 55 students, right? Wow. It was unbelievable. And then, but what's cool about it is that we get a group of kids, not kids, they're all ranges from probably 15 to like 40. And it's so much fun. We do like Name That Tune. We'll do like Freeze Dance. We'll do Pictionary, but we'll do it fast paced and all with music, right? And then we'll throw in some like DJ lessons, but simple lessons, because it's a big group of the type of music you need to play in a group of people, and to read the crowd and to see the reaction that you're getting from the crowd. So we'll throw in some of those those ideas or thoughts, so they can learn how to DJ on Zoom, how to DJ here, how to DJ there, and what's appropriate to play. And then we have a breakout room where we can break out and go into production, where you can create your own, music. And it's so great because we'll have during this call, we'll have 8 of our instructors on. Wow. And it sounds crazy, but it's so much fun because some of them are there just for support. But within, I thought, what was the last 45 minutes or so, we ended up having these sessions for 2 hours. Wow. And they love it. The sense of like the engagement, the sense of community, the kindness that you see, the love. I mean, it's unbelievable. And the creativity. That's what's amazing to me when they break out and go into the production room and they create a song within 1 hour, and they're like creating a song with one of our producers, one of our instructors, a producer, and then they'll even record something on their iPhone and then send it to us, and then we'll add that into the session, and then we'll manipulate it, and it's so unbelievable. And so they feel so proud of themselves for just creating a song, or creating a playlist, or doing whatever it is. So it's been amazing. It's been really, really good. And we also have where we have time, we'll ask them questions of what they're doing, and what's like their highlight of the week, and is there any suggestions that they have for other people of like what they did that was during the coronavirus, that was safe, that was this, and, they're wearing their masks, and some of them are taking walks, some of them are in the backyard, some of them are doing yoga, Zumba. So it's really, really cool of some of the things that happens. And we're just sitting back and going, wow, this is amazing. I mean, we've had a couple of sessions where parents had tears in their eyes, right? And I'm a mush. I mean, forget about it. Like, I have to pretend that I have allergies and be like, oh excuse me.
I'm the same way.
Like, I have allergies,
You're
right?
cutting onions. You're cutting onions.
But yeah, exactly. So it's been so cool. And knowing that we're making a difference with people, and they're making a difference with us. Even my instructors, after we get off a really good really good session, or at the end of the day, we have a quick little wrap up, and we cannot believe how much fun we're having and how much of an impact I think we're making because of the comments that we see. And it feels great. It just feels really great. And I feel very, very blessed that during these trying times right now, that things are actually pretty awesome, in a sense of like, you make the best with what you have. And I've had my share of good times, and I've had my share of bad times, and nothing is easy. And so that I know there's a lot of people going through some really, really difficult times, and we've all been there, and it's not easy. But if you can focus on things that make you happy, things that make you feel a sense of comfort during these tough times, engaging with people and just making progress, just to be a better person, that I know that helps me, and it's helping some of the students. So it's, it's a good feeling.
It's amazing. You were talking about how you guys have adjusted during this time, and, you try to make the best out of a very obviously not so great situation. And it sounds like you guys are doing that. You're making an impact on the community despite everything that's going on. And, obviously you guys are finding a lot of success in these events. And like you said, not everyone's going to love it. Of course, nobody planned this. You didn't expect this was going to happen, right? So you're doing the best with what you got. But what do you have to say? What is your advice to other entrepreneurs, or just people out there right now who are struggling and who are having trouble finding connection, or as they say, pivoting, right? Adapting their business or their entrepreneurship to work in today's time? Because as I think I mentioned to you earlier, I've been doing more podcasts now than I've ever done. And it's a good thing. Obviously I like, and I'm sure you agree, you like being in person, hugging and engaging with your participants. But, I've been able to pivot and do the Zoom calls online and do my podcast and even give talks online. But what is your advice as an entrepreneur to other individuals that are having kind of a hard time adapting?
I think it's as simple as you make it. I mean, if you're during a time like this, as an entrepreneur, this is the best time to reinvent and to figure out, what can I do to make a difference? What can I do that I enjoy? What can I do that I like? What can I do that comes easy to me, and that it could also serve a purpose to the community? Mm-hmm. And a lot of people can't think along those lines. If they're stuck and they say, well, I'm selling paper, right? I'm selling paper. And if people aren't using paper anymore, or they're not, then you have to pivot, you have to change, you have to get into a different business or a different situation. But I think the entrepreneurs that are passionate about what they do, and it has meaning, like what you're doing has some sort of meaning, the cream rises to the top. If you're doing something that's really good, and people want your product or service, you just have to be authentic about it, and you have to tell people why your product is so great, and how it's helping people, and why you're so passionate about it. And I think that's how it's going to work. I mean, if you just are mad at what's going on, and you're mad at whatever, the government, you're mad at this, you're mad at that, there's no room for it. So I think you just have to dig deep within yourself and say, okay, what can I do that comes easy to me? And let's say with you, right? you've gone through your struggles, right? And you're passionate about the podcast, and you're passionate about helping people and making a difference. And it comes easy to you. Like you're a talker. You can talk. You can ask the right questions. So what you're doing is absolutely incredible. Is you're doing a podcast. Think about it. You're doing a podcast, and you're, in essence, showcasing other people. But you're learning so much from every single person that you're interviewing. You're learning so much from them. And some of the stuff you're not going to use because, maybe you don't agree with it. But, for the most part, you're going to learn what to do and what not to do. And so that is an incredible thing. And eventually, turn into, as far as business-wise, it'll turn into a business, one way or another. Because if you network, if you're a good person, and if you're constantly networking and you have good intentions, people are going to remember, and they're going to try to figure out and say, wow, maybe this is a great opportunity for Paul Vibes. Or maybe Paul Vibes should interview this person, and so on and so forth. And before you know it, you have 1,000 podcasts under your belt. And then you have people that are saying, why don't you come on to whether it's our platform, our station, whatever it may be. And all of a sudden, before you know it, you didn't even think about it, but now you have sponsorship deals, or you're making money on it. And it's something where you just did it for the love of it, and it turned into a business, and you're like, oh, wow. I never thought that, I went to school to be a social worker or a business person or whatever it may be. And now you're hosting, a nationally syndicated podcast, making, tons of money, and you never really thought about it. So I think it's just kind of like following your gut instincts, following what you think is, that you love, and it makes sense for you and it comes easy. And then just trying to figure out how you can help like the community, or your specific target that you're targeting.
I mean, you're absolutely right. I think that doing what you do because you love it more than anything is the most important thing. And my philosophy, whether it was planning the buddy events or giving a talk or this podcast, if one person at a talk gets something from it, or if one person that watches my podcast gets something, it's worth it to me. It's not about the viewers, subscribers, all that's important, metrics. But to me, I do this because these conversations, I mean, we've had similar conversations just on the phone between you and me. And it's similar, it's just checking in, learning about each other. And my philosophy is if I put this out there and one person gets something from it, that makes it worth it. It's not about the money. It's not about this. And even setting up this room, as this stuff isn't cheap, the cameras and the microphones and all this stuff. But I do it because in my heart, I know that it's what I'm meant to do. And it sounds like you have the same kind of mentality, is you do what you do because you love it. And, when I walk out of a talk or I walk out of a podcast, I feel like I was the one motivated. It's like that saying, when you help others, you help yourself. And in a way, it's almost like a selfish thing, because you love that feeling when you're able to make an impact on someone's life. And from what I've seen and the people that I know who have been a part of what you do, you guys leave people with such a positive and uplifting and empowering feeling. And I got to say, it's really amazing to see how you guys have been able to adjust, during this time. And I want to ask you to go a little deeper too. I know before we started recording, we were talking about how, personally, how you're looking at the second stage of your life with your wife and your kids. When you've had the success that you've had, and you start looking at how you want to live the rest of your life, or the changes you want to make, or the goals you want to make, how has that process been for you? Because you've already made such a positive impact on the community.
I mean, that's a good question. I mean, things change throughout, just throughout life. And as you get older, your priorities change. And I think when I was younger, I was so driven to be successful because of the way of my upbringing. And since we had no money growing up, and I felt like I had to save the family. And so I had like the world, the weight of the world on my shoulders at 16 years old, because I felt like it was my job to make money and save the family. And so we were like losing our house. I think I was like 18, 19 years old, and I was still in college. And, as I'm coming home from college, my mom's saying, listen, we may only have another, year left. in the house. And so I always felt like that pressure. So when I graduated college, I started my own business. Instead of taking a regular job, I started my own business. And it was, it happened to be, we called it Caffeine. It's the same name. It was a nightclub. But I did that not because I was so into owning a nightclub, but it's because I felt like I could make enough money where I could buy a house for my family. And meanwhile, I'm 21 years old, just graduated. So the first 10 years between 21 and 31, I worked so hard and trying to be successful, and so I can buy a house. So at 23, I ended up buying a house for myself, my mom and dad, my brother and sister, and my girlfriend at the time. So she moved in with us. But it was about providing for my family, and then it was to continue to provide for the family. And it was always a race to succeed. And I always had good intentions because I did stuff that I loved. I mean, I ended up owning a nightclub and a record label and a clothing store and a record store and then a clothing company, like the brand of clothing that we sold all over the world. And we started doing tours with our DJs, and that was all over the country. And we went to Japan and went to Europe a little bit, but it was mainly in the US. And we got sponsored by Coca-Cola. So we did some pretty amazing things, but I was driven. I love to create. I love to create something from nothing. So it was cool. There was a high school friend of mine and I that we were just like, all right, let's just create and let's create like this Disney World, but in the underground dance culture. And we'll have DJs and they'll perform all over the world, and we'll have clothing and we'll do this and we'll throw events. So it's music, events, fashion. But as I got older, it was interesting. It changes a little bit. It's not about like how much you can succeed and how you can conquer the world. It's more about making an impact and making a difference. And the money is really not as important, because when I grew up poor with nothing, right? And then I was so driven to make money, and I made money. But I always remember, like, I had to be super humble because I never wanted to just forget. I never could forget where I came from. And a lot of people reminded me that. I had a brother-in-law, now his next brother-in-law, who said, Verino, remember the people on the way up because you're going to meet them on the way down. So I was just like, okay, it was a simple little, silly little, advice, but it always stayed with me. Is just remember where you came from. So even when I was doing really, really well, and we were on top of the world, and we, multi-million-dollar business, and we were on Fox Business and cover of Newsday, and the New York Times and stuff like that, all great, but I never ever let it get to my head. But now it's different. So I had the success, the financial success, the financial freedom, all that kind of stuff, and the accolades. And now I don't care about getting any press. I don't care about how much money, I make, because I've made money, I've lost money, up and down throughout my whole entire career. But it's really not, money is very important for security and for, just being able to live, but it doesn't really make you, happier. You know what I mean? Like, it helps, don't get me wrong. So I'm looking at things differently, where I'm more excited about making an impact and making a difference in people's lives and sharing my experience with others and say, look, if I can do it, you can do it. And I think that's important to know, because sometimes you feel alone in the world because you're like, I don't get that. I don't understand how, like, I don't get how you're teaching it. And then, well, this is how we teach it. If you don't like it, too bad. And it's like, well, there has to be another way. So I feel like it's different now as you get older, because you look at life differently, and it's more simple. It's not as complicated, and you realize, like, the importance of being happy is the importance of being healthy, the importance of having amazing relationships, in your life, whether it's with your spouse, significant other, parents, kids, brothers, siblings, friends, whatever. All right. And what's also important is your sense of purpose, yeah, obviously your career, your career's in there too, career, sense of purpose, and what were you meant to do in this world? And for me, it's just telling my story and helping people find what they have inside of them. You know what I mean? Like helping them find their lane and making them feel good about themselves and saying, hey, I'm great. I know I can do this. And that is something where I feel like it's my mission, and the success will come, because if you have good intentions and you're doing the right thing, I've seen it before. So I'm patient. Like I can wait. I'm not in a race to make all this money. Like it's not important to me. I've had it and I lost it, and I've had it and I lost it. So it doesn't matter. Now it's really enjoying the journey and making a huge impact.
Wow. I think you should come with me on my motivational talks now. What do you think?
Hey, no problem. I'll come by.
Yeah, I think that, what you've been talking about resonates with me, and I think a lot of the viewers, because I think a lot of us, we see the world that we live in, right? It projects this idea of living for the weekend, living for the paycheck, living for this, getting more money and this experience and that experience. And I know in my life, the times where I've been in a place of joy and happiness is when I'm enjoying the present moment. I'm big into spirituality, as you probably know, and living in the now and meditation and stuff. And I believe that really appreciating and enjoying the journey, as you mentioned, is the most important thing, because we're constantly living for the future, right? Living for the weekend, living to when this happens, then I could be happy. When I have the perfect relationship, I could be happy. And it seems like what you do in your life and what you do for your, with the Caffeine Academy, is these people come in for all walks of life, and they're able to be in the present moment and enjoy themselves and learn and be confident in who they are now. It's not about once the track is done, then I could be happy, or once this is finished, I could be happy. It's like, let me enjoy the present moment. And you guys have a great community of just acceptance and love. And, I'm into the word vibe. And in a way, you almost have like a positive vibe tribe, I like to call, when a positive group of people come together and they support each other. And I really love the amazing things you're doing. And I hope that once things open back up, I can come do a little, almost like a podcast inside the studio and film you guys working together and hanging out and having fun. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Of course. I would love it. I mean, anybody that comes through the academy, whether it's even on a Zoom class, and they have positive energy and they have, good vibes and good intentions, right? These students just opened up to you. I mean, like their hearts open up within minutes, and because you can't be fake. I had an instructor one time. He's an incredible instructor, and but he was just maybe not happy with himself. Who knows what was going on, right? And the interesting thing is that the students picked up on it. It's like, oh, what's going on with so and so, and nothing was going on. Like, he was very nice, but internally they can feel that there's something wrong. So you can't fake it. Like, you have to be genuine. You have to really show love, because they feel it. Just like how a baby, can tell, like, if they're being loved or not, what I mean? Like, animals can feel it. So like, we all can. If you really are in tune, you can see and feel if someone's authentic or not. So if you walk in, people, you already have, your whole name is in Paul Vibes. I mean, like, it's right, it's in the name. But the thing is, though, they'll sense right away that you're for real, and then their hearts will open up, which is so cool. And that's what I love to see, where, we did a two moms started a friends chat, and they were going to do it once a week at 7:30 at night. And it turned out to be much, much more than that. And it's every single night. They've been doing it for about 7 weeks now, just to keep their kids. And, most of them, all abilities and special needs and stuff like that. but they wanted to do something for their kids. These two moms want to do something for, for their individual kids. And it started off with 6 people, and it went up to 50 or 60 people. And we're part of that group on Monday nights. And the love that's in this Zoom session is off the charts.
Mm-hmm.
It's so unbelievable. They're dancing, they're smiling, they're having the time of their lives, and they're like interacting with each other, they're engaging. So that to me is just, it's so special. And why not just keep doing that, right? Why not spread like the vibe, spread the word, And I think if people, no matter if you're young or if you're much older, if you change, even entrepreneurs, if you change the way you think and you become real with yourself, I think it'll make a huge difference. Because it's hard to explain in a way where if you're just all about business and bottom line, it's not going to work, honestly. Like it's not going to work. And eventually people will realize that, I don't want to support this business.
Yes.
So it has to be authentic. It has to be real. And I think if more people were true to themselves, I think life would be so much easier. And same thing with business. If everyone just cut right to the chase and say, hey, these are my intentions, right? I'm doing a podcast. I think you're cool. I want you on my podcast. That's it. That's my intention, right? Instead of like beating around the bush or saying, hey man, I'll do this for you if you do this for me. It's like, no, whatever feels right, you do it. And you got to be honest about it.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's my 2 cents.
You're like that. And when I called you up, you were so friendly. I know we spoke about having each other on, doing something, and then everything got a little crazy, but then we reconnected and made it happen. But I remember, I think we had 1 or 2 phone calls since this podcast, and you've always been so friendly and giving and generous and, sharing connections with me. And I really appreciate that. And listen, I would love to have you on again soon on the show. I feel like I could talk to you for hours. I can't wait to get you in the studio. I hope that you'd be down to come hang out with us here and vibe in the studio.
Of course.
And I can't wait to come. And I appreciate the invite, and I'm definitely going to take you up on that. I would love to come take some of my GoPros and film a really nice video showcasing some of the great things that you're doing. And I know you weren't promoting any event or even your business, but just if someone's watching this and they want to learn more about you, and I'm going to have your links in the description, but just for the camera, where can people find you and connect with you?
All right. Well, it's Caffeine Academy. It's really simple. We're on Facebook and Instagram, and we have a website. It's Caffeine Academy. And I think if anybody if they know somebody that's interested in music, if they love music, if they love DJing or want to learn how to produce music or become an influencer, learn how to, make videos, edit videos, anything in that sort of music and film and creativity. I think they would appreciate, like Caffeine Academy. The instructors, everyone is so nice. Everyone's so caring and loving and real. So if anyone knows somebody that loves music and wants to learn DJing, producing, that sort of stuff, then of course, obviously, take a look at us at Caffeine Academy. We have a bunch of videos, and they can determine for themselves if this is the right fit.
Yeah. And I love how you bring in those good vibes and motivation. And I would love, not to put you on the spot, but I'd love to come in and speak one day, or even if it's for 15 minutes, to share my story of overcoming my learning disability and hopefully inspire, if it's just one individual from your group, that would be amazing. I'd love to do that.
Yeah, I think one of the fun Fridays where we have like a group of people, they would love it because you're very relatable, and that's what they like. They're just people that are just relatable and that respect them as much as they're supposed to respect you.
And as you know, our friends at NITS Community Center, we're planning a big event, and I think that's also how we connected too, through them. But I've given a few talks there, and they have a great community. I know a lot of people from the NITS Community Center take part in the great stuff you do. So as always, man, it's always great talking to you. It's always great connecting with you. I'm sending you and your family lots of good vibes. And Alex, with me, let's send some good vibes to the viewers. And I look forward to having you on again soon. Thank you so much.
Hey guys, this is Alex from Caffeine Academy. I just finished doing a podcast with Paul Vibes. I just want to tell you I had a great time. Awesome guy, very, very sincere, very authentic, asked a lot of great questions, and I'm just so grateful to be on your show. Keep doing what you're doing, and I highly recommend anybody to go on his show. He's just it was just so much fun. We had a great time, and that's it. All good vibes.
Hi, I'm Paul.